are.
Well, welcome back.
Are you? We're serious, aren't you?
Yeah, to episode 150. That's it. This is the last one that we're ever doing. It might as well should be at this point. I mean, we're just tired.
How in the
done.
world did we not hit record?
I don't know. We hit record on this. We hit record on that. I thought it was over there. I don't know. It's fine. What's up, man? How are you? Doing all right? We had a whole good monologue about how we were quitting this. It was going to be so good, and I just didn't press record. Too many buttons over
It's
here.
been
We need somebody to come over here and do this.
This is amazing. It's been 150 consecutive weeks, and we still make mistakes.
Still, and we always will.
But it's okay.
It's funny watching some of the videos that we post, and like the distilling in Ireland video that we just posted, and how we have two different angles going, and then I just creep into frame because I don't know where the frame is because we don't have anyone else working for us, and I'm just like going with the gimbal, like going in and out, like all this stuff. We're just two dudes. There's no producer, there's no camera guy, there's no audio guy. It's just us. But we go with it. I mean, what's going on, Mike? How are you today?
I'm
Doing
good.
all right?
Yeah. I'm okay.
I mean, we also just had 2 tequilas and a gin, so pardon me, friends.
Lower proof.
Still tequila, though.
Yeah. About to get rowdy and start speaking Spanish.
Yeah, now we're drinking scotch. We're going all around the world.
Yeah. Gonna get real sick later, but no, it's fine.
Ireland, Mexico, Jalisco, Mexico,
Mm-hmm.
and now Scotland. Going all over the place.
So
We got some Kokori there, too, if you want to go to Japan real quick.
I'm good.
Rip.
There's a reason why. One sun is enough. I don't need to see 2 fall from the sky. So for you guys, we're going to start with business sponsors. Addie's, thanks for your logo. High Peaks Imagery, veteran-owned, first-person drone footage for marketing. If you are a local business and you want High Peaks to arrive, reach out to them at highpeaksimagery.com. They can take a first-person drone, fly it through your business, and create marketing content for you to use on your websites and socials. High Peaks, thank you for being a sponsor. Queen City Creative Works, local married couple, and they run a Etsy shop on steroids is how we like to classify it and describe it, but they make personalized things,
Show 'em
gifts
up.
for you. So head on over to Queen City Creative Works. You can get custom branded coasters that we have for sale, as well as this bottle opener that's metal with silicone wrapping, and then also this water bottle that has our logo etched into it. So if you are in the market for Buffalo Happy Hour branded merchandise, head on over to queencitycreativeworks.com, and you won't be disappointed, and you'll also be supporting another local family. So thank you, Queen City Creative Works, for being a business sponsor. Addie's, thanks for your logo.
Hell yeah.
Again, Addie's, thanks for your logo.
Always. Appreciate you, Tyler.
For our useless fact,
And Lewis. Let's not cut Lewis out of this.
you can't.
Yeah, he's
It's
the man.
physically impossible.
Yeah. So thank you, Lewis.
Thank you, Lewis. In 1942, a British forest guard in India made an alarming discovery. Some 16,000 feet above sea level, at the bottom of a small valley, was a frozen lake absolutely full of skeletons.
Really?
In 1942. Interesting.
How deep was the lake?
Don't know. It doesn't say. So, apparently
That's
not deep enough to
interesting. Yeah, right.
hide them all, but yeah, the whole thing is full of skeletons. And it also doesn't annotate if it's human or animal skeletons, but I mean, to be fair, I guess humans are animals.
Yeah. I wonder how he found it. Was he just like going for an afternoon swim and his leg like hit something? He's like, what the hell? Oh my God.
Yeah, maybe. I wish he was German, because then he could be like, who wants to go for a swim? But he's British, so it's probably like, I don't know. I don't even know what they would say.
Who wants to go for a swim?
No, that's like Australian.
kind of?
Yeah.
What's a British accent? Do a British accent then. Hello, Governor.
Kinda, yeah.
Tea and crumpets.
They probably
I mean, it's
talk
kinda
about
the same.
They probably talk about taking a quick dip
Yeah.
or something ridiculous.
Australian and British are somewhat
Somewhat
same,
similar.
Same vein, different.
I just wish Australia did the same thing we did and told the Queen, like, go pound salt.
Yeah.
You know, we're fine.
They
We're
don't
out
have-
here. We're an island.
They don't have the force that we did, though.
Correct. Yeah.
Loser. No, I'm just
Well,
kidding.
I mean, they were literally designed and built from criminals.
Right.
It was a massive prison.
Yeah.
The whole island.
Which makes sense.
Yeah, and then they're like, we live here now.
Yeah, they're like, here's a spider that can eat your whole family.
Right.
You live here with them.
Right. Yeah.
Sounds terrifying.
It does. I wouldn't want to live there full time. Plus, it's super expensive. Cost of living.
Yeah, you were there. What is the weirdest animal you saw when you were there?
I actually saw a bird flying extremely slow.
That's super weird. Yeah,
Slow
that's
enough
weird.
to make it fall out of the sky, like you would think. And then when it made its noise, it sounded like a monkey. So it sounded like flying monkeys were around you, and it was just a bird making a monkey noise.
It sounds sweet.
It was so awkward. So awkward. And they wake you up every day. And what sucked is we went in July, which is technically their winter, apparently, even though it was 110. But it rained, and then it dried out. So you were always wet, either from sweat or from rain. And you couldn't, yeah, it was horrendous. And you're just in the bush for a month.
When
Just
sounds like the title of
hunting
my
wild
sex tape.
boar. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it was just so much going on. So much going on in Australia.
When is there a good time then?
When is there a good time to
Yeah.
go? I don't really know, to be honest with you.
Is there ever a good time to go to Australia?
I think everybody should go there.
Yeah.
It's a fascinating continent.
Don't you need like
but
47 shots to go there or something?
Yeah. And they weren't all on my shot record. So cheers to the U.S. government for all of that. But
What do you mean they weren't on your shot record?
when I got out, I asked for my primary doctor's sake to get my military vaccine or like the shot record
Yeah. Oh, okay. I gotcha.
for my duration in. And when it was printed and it came out of the system, I looked at it and I was like, guys, there's missing shots on this. And they're like, oh, yeah, we know. I was like, okay. So what do I, like, only the ones they wanted to document undocumented? They're like, correct. I was like, okay. Because
Okay.
I know a minimum of 7 shots that I got for Australia that aren't even listed on this thing. Same thing with Ukraine.
Yeah.
Same thing. Like, even to go to JRTC in Louisiana, we had to get a couple different shots. I was
Oh,
like,
really?
all right, we'll see if, yeah, I mean, it was a dumpster fire, and it still didn't matter. We got all the things.
The best time to visit Australia is September to November and then March to May. Those are the best times because it's neither too hot nor too cold. That makes it perfect to have a walk around Australia. So there you go.
Lift
Those
your
4
hat
months.
and then move your hair.
Those 4 months you can go. Other than that, you'll die. Basically.
Yeah, and literally, it is true. Everything there does want to eat you. So
It's so weird.
we were doing a night movement, and we reached the wood line. Okay, we were boxing around a field, which meant instead of walking through the field because it's a massive open target, you just box around it and follow the wood line around. We got to the other side of the wood line to penetrate through. Pause, and one of our guys, everything is tied down, but one of the guys is like, hey, I don't feel it right now. And it's just like 02 in the morning. He's like, I don't feel where my knot, like my thing should be. Can we stop for a second? And it was a sensitive item naturally. And I'm just like, oh my God, whatever. So I was like, hey guys, white light real quick. And, you know, we'll find this thing and then we'll just keep moving. Like pause X, whatever. It's a training mission, like no big deal. Well, we all white light and we were facing the wood line initially because we were trying to get our bearings a little bit better. And when we did that, all we saw were eyes in the wood line, like deep into the wood line. So as far as the light would reach with the lumens is the amount of like every single layer and every foot
Sure.
were just more and more eyes. And then once we realized, like we killed the lights and then we looked at it and then we flipped our thermals on. When we flipped the thermal, all you saw was just huge spiders all the way deep into the wood line. And I'm not talking about like normal spiders in a decent sized web. The bodies of the spiders were the size of my hands, including my fingers. And then you had their legs after that sitting in webs that spanned trees. So it was just a web of spiders, and we had to go through it. So we're like, pull out what, like, makeshift a spear, because we don't have machetes, and literally just hack your way through this and create in a little alley that we can all file behind, because, one, it's super thick. Two, now that it's nighttime, we're going to move up to like 1 to 3 meters, you know, or 3 to 5 meters in distance between each guy, and each guy's going to have his own spear, and we're just going to like work our way through this. It was the grossest, most terrifying thing in the world.
God. Did you have one on you at one point?
A spider?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because you would wake up and they would just kind of like be chilling or whatever. I mean, it was one of the strangest experiences that we've had outside of going to Louisiana, where there's wild horses on base, like in the woods.
Yeah.
There's just wild horses still, and we woke up and the horses were just walking past us, and they were like literally just walking and pooping all over the place, and you would just like woke up to like a fresh horse pie. Like, it was, and then what's crazy about JRTC at Fort Polk, if you break a wild horse, you can take it home. They're free.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which is really cool, but they're like impossible to break.
Yeah, you have to break it.
Yeah, because they've been wild for so long. But yeah, that's like a standing order at Fort Polk. But
That's
it's
pretty sweet.
Yeah, it was just that whole Australia trip was wild. We were in the box, right, for training for like 3.5 weeks, and then we ended up getting 36 hours of R&R, so relaxation and recreation. So the only standing order was don't miss our SP out of here and don't go to jail. And it was just an all. 18 of us got matching tattoos. We just got obliterated. It was insane. Any money we made in those 3 weeks, we spent at the bar. That's pretty much how it was a wash.
That's fine.
Yeah, it was a wash.
That's how it should be.
Correct. So yeah, I'll never forget seeing a senior NCO at the front of the bus getting the final head count. So just to give you an idea of how senior level this NCO was, he was getting a head count for the whole bus to make sure that everybody got back to the airport, and he literally said, all right, boys, if you got them, you got to drink them because we can't bring them. And then he cracked 2 beers like stone cold and chugged them on the bus, and then we all opened up our book bags and just started guzzling beers. It was a zoo. It was an absolute zoo, but we had a hell of a time. And then we came home. We were home for 9 weeks, and then we deployed for a year. All of us. That was it. That was like the last big hurrah.
Cool.
So it was a busy summer, but it was a really good time. But yeah, Australia is nuts. Highly recommend you should go, though.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm never against traveling, man. Everybody should be
that's true.
well-versed and kind of cultured and see how things go.
How far is it to Australia?
Well, our flight sucked. What we did was we flew to New York, we flew to downstate New York from Buffalo.
Mm-hmm.
And then we loaded up everything or whatever, and then we flew from downstate New York all the way to Hawaii nonstop. Stopped in Hawaii, fueled up, and then we flew from Hawaii to Australia. And it was 19 hours.
Damn.
It sucked, dude.
There's got to be a quicker way there, though, right?
I mean,
no?
follow the private flights. It's got to be faster. But I don't know why we picked up more dudes downstate, but it didn't make sense for us to fly from Buffalo to downstate and then fly whatever direct to Hawaii.
Well, I doubt there's a direct flight to Hawaii from Buffalo.
Oh, there's no way. Commercial planes, I don't even think have the fuselage to carry that.
Or not Hawaii, Australia.
To be honest with you, because dude, we were flying huge Airbuses.
Yeah.
Huge Airbuses.
Jesus, 22 hours? From here into Sydney, Australia, mate.
And we went to Queensland, which is somewhat near Brisbane, but we were in the northeast section of the continent.
So if we leave...
We were by the coral reef.
So we can leave today in an hour and 30 minutes, okay?
Okay.
And we'll get to Australia 3 days from now at 10:50 a.m.
3 days?
That's what it says. You leave here on August 17th and you don't get to Australia until August 21st.
We got there in less than a day because we flew nonstop. And what sucked is we're all excited because we're in Hawaii. We're like, oh, dude, this is sick. We're in Hawaii. No. They forced us into this little like concentration camp fenced-in area and said you can't leave here. There was one vending machine and one bathroom for an entire plane worth of dudes. And we had a bunch of guys that were afraid of flying, like that amount of time. But you're in the Army. Like, what do you...
Right.
Shut up and get on the plane. That's how this works. So they all took Xanax. And they were a part of the Zanny family. It's what we called. And they were all just knocked out. And we had to physically carry them off the plane. Jesus. And we had to try to, like, figure out how to feed them. I broke my seat on the way there because it wouldn't recline.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, what's wrong? So I finally just pushed hard enough and broke the airplane seat. And it went all the way to the floor.
Oh, my God.
So I spent 18 hours literally sleeping on my back. It was the best flight I've ever had. Super illegal, but it was fine.
So you would leave here at 7:45. You would get to JFK at 9:15 easily. And then from JFK, you leave at midnight, 12:30. And then you get to Hong Kong. It's a direct flight from JFK to Hong Kong. It's a 17-hour and 5-minute flight to Hong Kong. Direct.
So you go over the Pacific and then over like Europe to get to Hong Kong?
Yeah. No, it can't be. It has to be the other way around, right?
That's what I'm saying.
Why
wouldn't you go Buffalo to LAX and then LAX to Hong Kong?
It's probably a cheaper flight.
Probably because the Democrats are getting paid off somehow.
Probably, hell yeah.
I'm kidding.
But yeah, I mean, that's a good point. I don't know which way you'd go, but I'm assuming Hong Kong is closer if you fly over LAX rather than fly over
like
everything else.
Buffalo to Chicago, Chicago to LAX, LAX to Hong Kong, Hong Kong to Hawaii, Hawaii to Australia.
No, it would be Hong Kong to directly to Sydney, 9 hours.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, so you're on the plane for 17 hours and 5 minutes. You get off the plane, and then you have an 18-hour and 25-minute layover in Hong Kong. And then you leave from Hong Kong, and then you have a 9-hour flight to Sydney. Jesus, dude, this takes 3 days to get to Australia from here. How are you supposed to plan a vacation with that?
How many meals are you provided on a 19-hour flight?
Right, I know, seriously. You better get some
We
Deshaun Watson action on that flight.
Oh, goodness gracious, Derek. It's fine. It's fine. You're only going to be forced to miss 6 days of work for personal conduct issues.
Yeah, really. It's wild, dude. Absolutely wild. But so when you come back, that means you gain 3 days. That's even weirder.
No.
Why not?
What do you mean? You don't gain 3 days. It's whatever the time zone is. I think the time zone difference is like 18 hours.
But you would still leave on one day and then you'd come back another easily.
Oh, yeah, for sure. You're going to... I mean, dude, you're spending a day in the air. No thanks.
But you would gain a day coming back. Like, you would probably leave Australia on, like, the 21st and you would land here on the 20th.
Yeah, it's weird.
That would be wild.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
If you flew... I know we talked about time travel a lot, and we do have to talk about James Webb at some point today. But if you
The
fly...
telescope or the person?
The person... No, the telescope.
Okay.
The new pictures that they have. If you flew from Buffalo to Buffalo, what would that be? Like, how far of a trip would that be? And what would be the time change?
Can you imagine if you just present that idea to your airline and you're like, I just want the miles. Like, I want to fly Buffalo around Earth.
Well, isn't that what our buddy did that has a whiskey bar? He was saying that he just booked a flight to go from, like, one area to, like, a round-trip flight and just stop at 7 places. That's what his flight was because he had his credit card points. Like, he left Buffalo and then he flew to, like, LAX, stayed there. He flew to Hong Kong, stayed there, to India. Like, he did all these places in a round-trip flight that was absolutely free because of his credit card points.
No kidding.
I think so. I mean, I could be wrong, but I think that's what he said. I don't know. It was already a couple old fashions deep at that point. But I'm pretty sure that's what he said.
I wouldn't be surprised.
But that'd be wild.
Yeah.
But anyway, so James Webb, man. Cool dude.
So, first of all, what is the telescope named after? Who is James Webb?
Didn't we look this up right?
I don't even think that people know who James Webb is.
Do you know who James Webb is?
No.
So
that's why I
by
asked.
people, you mean you.
Well, no. Because when in the initial episode that we talked about this telescope, we just talked about the price of it and how it works, specifically with the waves of light.
He's probably the inventor.
Because the latest controversy about this telescope is how much it costs.
Yeah, it's like billions, isn't it?
Yeah. And everyone's pissed, like, hey, man, we don't need updated photos of space. We need food and lower gas.
Sure,
and
but those updated photos of space are orgasmic.
Dude,
Dude, looking at the rings,
they're color edited.
we're sick.
Yeah, they're color edited.
Well, yeah, I can color edit it too. I do that to our videos. You like it? I was the one that edited those photos from space, just so you know.
Here we go.
So Webb ran the fledgling space agency from February 1961 to October 1968. He believed that NASA had to strike a balance between human spaceflight and science. The man whose name NASA has chosen to bestow upon the successor to the Hubble Space Telescope is most commonly linked to the Apollo Moon program, not to science.
Okay. And now we got a telescope named after him. Okay.
That's billions of dollars.
Yes. And who's paying for it?
The taxpayers.
We are. So what, we see Saturn is more orange than we thought?
Yes. But at the same time, do you think for 1 second that if we didn't have that telescope, our taxes would be less?
The problem is our taxes have essentially never been used to help the country.
So do you think it ever will be?
No,
Like,
because
I'm
the
not
system
mad.
is so broken and corrupt.
Right. I'm not mad at the James Webb Telescope because I know
No.
that the money wouldn't go anywhere necessary anyway. It would probably just go
Correct.
to more politicians' pockets.
100%. That's like one of the largest mansions. Okay, hold on. Let me phrase this correctly. The largest mansion in the United States is located in Beverly Hills. If you leave that zip code, the next largest home conglomerate population is in Maryland, right outside of D.C. And if you're going to tell me that certain politicians don't live in that neighborhood, you're out of your mind.
Mm-hmm.
Of course they do. I just am so fed up with how broken the taxes and that whole portion of the system have become. Like, it's just so disheartening. And there's no end in sight because the feds are just fried.
Mm-hmm.
And if anybody needs validation of wasted tax dollars or a wasted opportunity to better the country, just drive around. Like, leave your city, drive through different states, and you'll see the state of infrastructure across the country, and you're like, wow, we're literally hemorrhaging money out of the federal government to go to where? And it's such a misallocation of funds that if we just focused on domestic policies, we could literally have better roads, better food, better supplies, better logistics, and a better ran country. And we just don't because of greed, corruption, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, so what do you think, first of all, for a telescope to cost over $1 billion, what technology has to be in there that would justify $1 billion purchase?
Bro, aren't telescopes just a specific manipulation of glass to make you see farther?
Yeah.
I mean, when you break it down...
I mean, they have digital zoom telescopes now, so there is some sort of digital
I'm sure the
technology
technology
yeah.
within it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But really...
But still, that's the whole discussion that we had the other day about espresso machines. It might work. $50,000 for an espresso machine. It's like there comes a point where there's no way a telescope can cost $1 billion. No way. Do you think that that's all like a front? Like you start to get a little conspiratorial a little bit with this stuff, but how can something cost $1 billion that is a telescope to see space? What advantage do we have there? Just research purposes, I'm assuming? Just like to see what else is existing on Saturn?
Yeah. You know what I think that number comes from is they're including materials and labor and then all of that combined to actually make the telescope what it is. Payroll, insurance, workers' comp, whatever. I'm sure all of that rolls up into how much does this actually cost, and then they're like, okay, well now we got to pull from it. We're not just looking at materials to build this thing. We're looking at every single aspect of creating this telescope, in which case it's over $1 billion.
Those pictures were sick, though.
Correct, but my God,
What was your favorite?
I don't know. I think having asparagus on a dinner table is pretty spectacular. Let alone seeing Jupiter up close.
I think Jupiter's better than asparagus. Jupiter doesn't make my urine smell.
Yeah, well, at least now we can see Uranus. So
Hell yeah. You could see it before, you just had to ask.
the photos of Jupiter are really cool. Some of the Cosmo clouds, which is what they're called, which is not what it actually is. It's just like dust. That's pretty cool. I mean, the photos are sick. They really are really cool to look at, and it's nice that we have the technology in place to see these things, and it's helping research, and it's helping us, redefine how we look at this cyber warfare battlefield and whatever else. But, like, really?
Yeah, there's more pressing issues here
100%.
than a James Webb telescope.
I just struggle, man. I just struggle.
Well, the U.S. did just kill the new leader of Al-Qaeda who took over after bin Laden, report says.
How? Drone?
I don't know. It's just a report. I didn't look into it.
Oh, okay. No boots on the ground? No boys just getting after it?
I mean, maybe. Maybe there'll be a movie about it, too.
Listen, there's only going to be a book and a movie about it if the SEALs did it. That's the reality.
CIA drone strike
Okay.
was successful in killing Al-Qaeda leader Ayman al-Zawahiri,
That sounds super American.
who has led the Islamic terrorist group ever since the U.S. Navy SEALs killed Osama bin Laden in 2011.
Damn.
yeah.
When did we take him out?
2011.
No. Not bin Laden. We took this dude out today?
Yeah.
I wonder if that's going to make national news.
I mean, I would assume so. It's a pretty big deal. But also training camps going on, so that's also a bigger deal.
Well, there's that, but then also,
Employers back at practice. That's all I care about.
the Hyde.
Yeah.
It's the current administration that's going to dictate if we get to know about good things or not. We'll see.
Yeah. But yeah. So what else is going on? What's your weekly recap like? What you looking at?
My in-laws got a new puppy.
Ooh.
So we
cute,
swung out
cutie.
to Syracuse and then hung out with the new golden retriever puppy.
Did you bring Sam?
Yeah, the whole family brought all their dogs, so all the
Nice.
dogs can meet the new dog. Sam was really, really good with him. They played. Sam was teaching him some stuff, which was really, really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a moment where my father-in-law's lot backs up to a major road, but there's a huge section of woods between that road and his house, right? So his yard borders that wood line. So Colleen's family dog named Cody was a 14-year-old English Yellow Lab, and he recently passed away, but he grew up in that house. Like it was his house, right? So he would always wake up and go outside, and he would like pee and poop, and then he would just walk the property line in the backyard, and then when he was ready, he would just go up the back stairs and then just like bark and then get fed. Well, now Sam does that same lap because Cody taught Sam that.
That's cool.
So now when we're out there, Sam was doing his lap and I was leading because I was out there. I'm just like, we're take a lap, whatever. Sam naturally just follows. He's just like, all right, I'll go over here. Like, Dad's over here, I'll go over here. And then he'll sniff the ground or whatever. Well, Russ got distracted because he's 12 weeks. So he got distracted and he like went into the wood line a little bit. And I kept going, and Sam ran over to Colleen, and he was looking at her, and he's like, "Hi, Mom," and Colleen was like, "Go get Russ. He can't be in there. Go get Russ." And Sam's ears perked up, listened to her. She repeated it, and then he literally looked at Russ and then trotted over to him, and he just like stood by the wood line. And then by that point, I walked over there, and I'm like, "Hey, bud, come on," and I was talking to Russ. And Sam, like, listened to me, and he's just like, all right, like, yeah, let's go. Like, I know I can't be in here, like, whatever, but Sam's 5.
Mm-hmm.
So then I walked over to Russ, and then when I walked over to him, he's like, okay. And then he, like, jumped through the little leaves or whatever and then came back into the actual backyard. But it was the first time I seen Sam just kind of, like, take that, like...
leadership role?
Yeah, but, like, as an older brother.
Yeah.
It was so interesting to watch. But, yeah, it was just, like, really, really good with him. They played a bunch. They sniffed each other. They humped a lot, but it was, like, a dominance thing. And
would you get another dog right now with Sam or no?
I would. Colleen doesn't want to.
Yeah.
Colleen is obsessed with having her heart to one dog at a time. And I'm like, yeah, but they'd be like best friends. I'm not opposed to it. 3 dogs is too much for me. 2 dogs is fine. Especially if they're both yellows and they're just running around.
Yeah. I feel like Cleo would get very territorial and very jealous.
Oh, at this
If you
point,
brought another
100%.
dog in, yeah.
At this point, yeah.
Because she's 7, bro.
Yeah. Yeah.
Getting up there.
Mm-hmm. And you spend so much time with her.
Oh, I know.
BG, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Before Gina.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, you got years.
She's territorial
With
over
Cleo.
Gina. Gina
Yeah.
will come, like, sit next to me, and Cleo will sit right in between us. She's like, nope, you don't do that. This is my dad, not yours daddy.
Goodness gracious.
But that's cool. So you were up there. How long were you up there for?
Just a
Couple days?
weekend. It was a turn and burn. Yeah, it
Cool.
was a turn and burn trip. We had fun, good time, and then came back and then got to work, and that's it. We're prepping for Maine.
Oh, yeah. When do you leave? For Maine?
We leave Friday.
For...
A week.
Jesus, we got to bet. This Friday you leave?
Yeah, bro.
Fuck. So are we batch recording today? Are we doing more than one today? What's going on?
Well, we got to check the backlog. What went live? This is what happens, people. This is what happens live.
Today 148 went live. And we're
149's done. This is 150.
Yeah.
So we're good for the
Technically.
trip.
We haven't helped Patreon a lot at all. So we should probably batch record today.
We're slammed.
Maybe we'll do like 2 episodes today, both a half hour. Is that okay with you guys? Half hour. We got shit to do. I mean, we did this whole monologue at first. I already said how we were quitting. Clearly that's a joke, but we got a lot of stuff going on. Mike is doing a lot of his work. I just got promoted too. Everything's been just a disaster. I'm still editing footage from Ireland. We're doing more commercials. Like, there's a lot going on, and this is an event session, but this is just, we might be cutting back on some of these weekly episodes, like a half hour, because 1, you guys don't need to hear us talk for an hour. 2, we got a lot of stuff going on. So if we can dial these back to half hour, maybe that's what we do. And we're at a half hour right now. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it. If you want to hear more about our weekly recap next week, go tune in next week for episode 151. Hopefully you guys like this shorter form content. Let us know. Do you like half-hour podcast episodes or hour-long episodes? I mean, let us know. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, thank you, everybody. Please remember to always drink responsibly. Be a good person. And Michael.
Do not litter.
We're out.